As you can see in this loaded Christmas belly, I was going to be a happy camper. No matter what happened in this game between the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers, where, yes, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Dallas Mavericks 138 to 115. And honestly, this game was over by the third quarter. And being a Luka Doncic fan, yeah, I would love for my man to get some help, have a healthy KP on his side, and get the Mavericks rolling and ready and get a more closer game between the Lakers. But it is what it is with the Dallas Mavericks right now. KP being out, Luka Doncic just having to do the thing he does best, which is play beautiful basketball, but with less help. But on the night, I mean, Luka was fantastic. I mean, what more can you say about Luka Doncic? Just love this kid. And yes, selfishly, I would love Luka Doncic to play in the purple and gold, but for the benefit of the entire NBA and for parity's sakes, yes, I wish Luka Doncic stays in Dallas forever and cements his legacy a la Dirk Nowitzki or Kobe Bryant. And really, in year 3 for Luka Doncic, I think we're just going to see a steady evolution in this young man who's just going to get better. And it was just curious where very early on, I mean, he was guarding LeBron James, which I thought, all right. I guess relatively speaking, Luka might be the more defensively weaker of the starting 5 that you have for the Dallas Mavericks, which included, and let's read out here, Finney Smith, Hardaway, Richardson, and Powell. So, kind of an underwhelming squad overall right now. And yeah, I'm not trying to do any discredit to these guys because relatively speaking, as role players, specialized role players, they do their jobs pretty well. But with all their talents collected and with Luka and their bench, they weren't going to do much against this Lakers team. And this is a Lakers team where, yeah, even in the loss against the Clippers, where I said I fully expected the loss, but for them to be engaged in that game, when you're down very early on, 22 points, and to get close, 2 points by halftime, and eventually by the fourth quarter, just kind of tiring yourselves out, it just kind of falls flat. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're a Lakers fan after that game, you had a lot of optimism. Like, hey, well, we still competed. We still had a good time. And a lot of the new guys that we got, they were pretty damn good in that first game. And lo and behold, second game, they kind of continue that trend. And, I got to tell you right now, the whole notion of Dennis Schroeder re-signing up with the Lakers for, I believe the initial sum they said on the television broadcast was 2 years for 2 or 3 years for 40 mil. Is that right? And I'm pretty sure this negotiation, which said is going to be continuing in mid-February, is going to be very interesting to gauge how Dennis Schroeder keeps playing up to that point and beyond. And I think really, as much as we love Rondo, boys and girls, as Lakers fans, it's weird to say this. I mean, as a Lakers fan who saw 2008, who witnessed 2010, it's weird to say that right now as Rondo, Lakers champion. We love him, but in a way, we brought in Dennis Schroeder to be a younger kind of upgrade to Rondo. And yeah, I'm not saying, he's better than Rondo, but by all the optics, by all the things that Dennis Schroeder can bring to the table, I mean, that's what you're expecting. So it's going to be interesting to keep up with that timeline with Dennis Schroeder contract and how the season goes. And obviously, you have LeBron James just doing LeBron James things where, yeah, man, I berate the man all the time. I do. Because he has a lot of clownish off-court antics, and a lot of the shit he says doesn't make any logical sense. So you call his ass out. But on the court, I'm brilliant. And it's one of those games tonight on Christmas Day where there's another game where he could just keep on going. And I think he's only, what was it? Before this game, he was 35 points. So he is now, 13 points uh, away from surpassing Kobe in all-time points in a Christmas game. And I believe after assuming next season he plays in a Christmas game, LeBron James is going to be really the longest tenure and most, what's the fucking right word? Most times played in a Christmas game as an NBA player. And that's remarkable to really say that about LeBron James and the longevity and really the significant impact he has had on the game of basketball. And yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, tonight, he wasn't perfect, but he got shit done. And of course, I mean, when you have AD, life is pretty damn dandy, right, LeBron? It is. It is. I mean, we all love our boy AD. Oh, man, Anthony Davis. I mean, if he's not doing well on offense, he can do shit well on defense. And he's looking mediocre on defense. He's going to turn up on offense. So it's just like, oh, great. I mean, what are we going to really complain about? Well, I guess if anything, and you want to really be kind of a fucking Krampus, kind of a dickhead on Christmas kind of day, I would tell you, Marc Gasol just a little bit questionable at times. Although, yeah, the rebounding is great. Although, on the offensive side, you would think a little bit more distribution, putting points up. But you know what? Again, I have to keep reminding myself of the fact that Marc Gasol is above 35-year-old man who, good Lord, I mean, if he can run up and down the court in one go, I should be pretty happy about that, relatively speaking, to the other young cats that we got on the squad. And like Montrezl Harrell, man, it's pretty incredible that this cat just said, fuck the basement dwellers, I'm coming to the Lakers. And 2 games in, it seems as though he's fitting in pretty well. And, you know, I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to notice this, but the chemistry that Montrez has been sort of developing with Anthony Davis, that rapport that he's been building with him since the offseason, I think is pretty notable. And I think that could pay dividends down the line. And we've seen, you know, all throughout the NBA where chemistry can be a huge issue. And as of right now, it feels as though this Lakers team, despite adding all these new pieces and a lot of turnovers in terms of, you know, staff and, well, not staff, players, really. Well, they are technically staff. But relative to all of that, I feel the chemistry is still pretty damn good. Shout out to Jared Dudley. I always get that fucking comment going through social media where some dipshit always has to ask, but why do we have to keep Jared Dudley? He sucks. He doesn't put up any points. Because you need glue guys. You need glue guys in an NBA team so that the locker room doesn't become a fucking clusterfuck. But, man, if you want to get to the technical stuff, just look at the box score. Just take a glance at how, honestly, well and productive the bench was for the Lakers. And really, you can argue whatever a bench is on the night, right? I mean, right now, the starting 5 is Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Dennis Schroeder, KCP, and Marc Gasol. But, you know, in due time, things can switch around. I mean, that's how we know Frank Vogel. And again, man, I've said this in the first game review where I know this season, because you're defending a championship, because another shortened season, you're going to get a lot of scrutiny. You're going to get a lot of talking heads with a magnifying glass trying to find some flaw and some bullshit in this team. And as a Lakers fan, you just have to keep watching and see what this team goes through. And on a night like this, where they beat the Dallas Mavericks, I'm not too high on this game and this win because, yeah, we beat the Dallas Mavericks. We beat Luka Doncic. But what was this Dallas Mavericks team? No Kristaps Porzingis. Luka's still kind of chunky. I love you, Luka, but I can speak from experience and current state of affairs. Luka, you look a bit chunky, my man. But I know damn well. By February, or probably March, you're going to rip the goddamn league a new asshole. Because you're going to have KP back, and the boy Boban is going to be a delightful and terrifying beast to be unleashed in the NBA. And it's weird because I have so much affinity and appreciation for the Dallas Mavericks, despite being a Lakers fan. And it's because, I've been to a Dallas Mavericks game. I've been to Dallas 2 times in my life. I love that city. I love that place. And it's curious enough, I actually bought that t-shirt, the Luka Skywalker t-shirt, in Dallas. Dallas Mavericks versus Miami Heat, which was an amazing game last year. And I hope the best for Luka and the gang for the Dallas Mavericks. And for the Lakers boys, hey, we get our first win of the season. We are now 500 at 1-1. And I'm going to give you another little thing for myself, personally, that I'm going to think about this Lakers team. I would say within the first month of this season, if we get to 500, I'm pretty happy. If we're at 500 after the first month, I'm pretty happy. Again, this comes from looking at certain teams. Maybe to a certain extent, I can overvalue certain teams that don't really get talked about enough, I suppose. Like the Minnesota Timberwolves, who we have to face on Sunday. I find them a bit curious right now because they did add all these young pieces. Shout out to Jared Culver, who is not going to get enough love because Minnesota doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with all their assets. But you can't just overlook shit. And you got to look at context and detail and hope that the Lakers can, keep up this consistent work and consistent effort and focus. All the good stuff to pave the way to another postseason appearance and hopefully a road to the final. Right? Ring number 18 would sure be sweet. But hey, we're only 2 games in the 72-game season, so 70 more games to go, boys and girls, and that'll do it for me. And I will catch you back here on Sunday where we're going to be talking about the Lakers after they take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and hopefully we can talk about another win. And that'll do it for me. So, boys and girls, follow me at the Sky Lounge on all the links in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe for more daily contents. And until next time,